Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of Pat's podcast. I'm your co-host John.
Hey, welcome. And I'm your co-host Joseph. And today we're going to be interviewing each other and getting giving you guys a sense of who we are and our backgrounds and where we come from. And we're also going to be talking about where the podcast originated from. Do you want to explain how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, so it was like October of 2020. I had just gone on a trip to New York and I went on the Path train, takes you all over the city and from New Jersey to New York. And I had gotten home that night and I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 in the morning. I was just thinking about like the train tracks and how it like takes you places and how we're growing up as young adults. And the idea just clicked where it was like, oh my God, I know so many different people with different careers. I didn't go to college myself. So I was like, this Pat's podcast of talking about like young adults finding their path in the world and their careers, it could be a cool idea. And coincidentally, you hit me up around that time and we started to talk about how we were doing. And then you mentioned you want to do a podcast, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do a podcast too.
Yeah,
Right?
I wanted to do a podcast with my dad, and I was like telling you about like that we wanted to talk about our perspectives on life and different situations going on in life. And you're like, oh my God, I had an idea randomly when I was half asleep coming back from New York. It just felt like it was meant to
Everything's meant
be
to
type
be.
of thing. Yeah. And we kept the idea, we stayed with it, and here we are 2 months later. Actually, we were gonna meet up and actually do it, but John ended up getting COVID. So we never
Yeah.
actually met up, but this is great too.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up getting COVID before anyone says anything from somebody in my household. And unfortunately, we all got sick. Thankfully, we're all okay and healthy now. But, we have the resources to do everything online and stay COVID safe and friendly from now on. So, that's how we're going to be doing it from now on until things get a little bit better and we find ways to get together in person.
Yeah, we really had a problem with the venue, so this is like kind of the best of both worlds. We have good quality, and we're it's way easier to pump it out uh, online than just getting meeting together in person. We really wanted to make this podcast was to help young adults try to like find themselves and give them more insight possibly about what they want to do in the future. So we want to have a lot of interviews here with friends that are all chasing different careers, people that are in the career. So that is kind of the goal here for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And to start it off, we're going to be talking about, our experiences. Myself, I'm 20 years old currently, and I did not go to college, and I'm actually working in the insurance field right now.
Yeah,
And
and that was a big shock to everyone because you were an honor student, you were involved with so many clubs and in student council and all that.
yeah, I mean, I don't mean to say this in like a bragging type of way, but I did get accepted into a lot of schools. I did get a lot of full rides and scholarship opportunities because of my good grades, because of my involvement with my class and the school. I was there almost, I think, every day till 5:30, even 6:30 after school in clubs. So I definitely was on the path to go to college, but I didn't end up going to college. And that was something really personal. And like you said, it did shock a lot of people, a lot of teachers, a lot of friends, family members, and I did have that pressure of going, but I kind of wanted to focus on what I wanted to do and what made me happy. And at the time, and currently still, I wanted to focus on my spirituality and just making sure I put that first in my life. And going to college for me was gonna block that, I feel like. So to get rid of like that possibility of messing up or doing something that I didn't want to do, that wasn't gonna make me happy, I decided to not go to college. And I started working in insurance. And I do feel like that was like a path that was directed to me. Um, through I always give thanks to God because I had no idea what insurance was when I was about to graduate high school. It was like June, almost
Yeah.
graduation, when I got the call, and like this woman from State Farm bombarded my phone like with texts, calls, emails, and FaceTime calls of trying to get me to come into State Farm office to do an interview for insurance. And I was like, there's no way I'm working in insurance. I had a job lined up as a CVS manager. I was going to do that. And then this opportunity came. I gave the interview conversation a chance, and it ended up actually 2 years later. Here I am, still working in insurance. It's definitely a career that I'm passionate about, and I like the sales aspect and the helping people out. So I'm definitely happy in what I do now and the decision I made not to go to college. And
Yeah,
you
that seems
actually
like it was meant
decided
to
to go
be.
to.
That was a good decision.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah. But you actually decided to go to college, right?
Yeah. My situation is like way different than your situation, but yeah, I decided to go to college. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm in the same boat as a lot of college students right now, and my major I'm not really passionate about. I don't really know what I want to pursue in terms of like a 9 to 5 type of job. I don't really want to do that. I really want to get out of that 9 to 5 sort of lifestyle, and I'm trying to figure stuff out. And I wanted to ask you actually, what was your like dream job? Do you still want to stay in the insurance field, or did you want to go out?
Well, my dream job was always working in music, and I still do that. I'm still like creating music. I do it for myself. As you can see, my piano's right here. And I do have a lot of equipment that I like to use. That was always my dream job. But as I grew up, my interests just started to change. Like I said, I wanted to focus on certain things like my spirituality and insurance. Actually, when I started out, I was like, maybe this will be something temporary. But like you said, I don't want to end up working a 9 to 5 in the future or like an office job forever. Although I work in that now and I enjoy it. I honestly do enjoy it, but it's not my goal to stay here forever, and I see that as a path in the career I've chosen in insurance where I definitely can become my boss in the future. So yeah, I enjoy my job and I plan to make this my career. And well, this podcast too. I mean, creating content has always been fun for me. So I always want to do that too. What about you, Joseph? What was your dream job growing up?
Well, growing up, I was actually a model, and I was really young. I didn't really know what was like. I had a lot of great opportunities as a model. I went so many places. I modeled for so many different companies, and my priorities were so mixed up at the time. I thought that I wanted to go to school. Like I wanted to pursue that. So I was like, I don't even want to model anymore. And like looking back on it, like I do, like I really do. But like my dream job now is definitely to be some sort of influencer. I really feel like I really want to like influence people's lives in a positive way. I want to create content. I want to entertain people. I want to make people smile, and that goes like along with kind of like I really want to help other people. And like you have that same like ideology, but you do it in a different way. You're doing insurance, right? But like mine is more like I want to help people like have a positive impact like on their lives. Not saying that you don't, but like making people smile, making them
No, no,
laugh,
I get
and
it.
I feel like I have the personality for it. I would still like to be a model, but I don't think I'm pretty enough to do that anymore. And like there's like a height thing going on there. I'm not tall enough, but yeah, definitely definitely some type of influencer.
That's really cool. And you definitely do have the personality to be like an influencer. Some people I
Thank you.
think are just born with like I don't know about you, but growing up I always had this thing like where it was like one day like a lot of people are gonna know my name or like I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
famous. It was just a feeling. It's like a gut feeling that somebody
definitely,
has.
100%. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I still
So
feel that way. Even though like I'm not in any position like that, like up there yet, like I still feel that deep inside that I could still be something big. Definitely.
definitely, definitely, yeah. And I've always felt that my whole life too, but like growing up, my priorities changed, I guess. Um, and I didn't really follow that. And it's not something that like I would love to do it. Sure, I would love to be an influencer. I would love to make people smile and entertain them because I love making content, but it's definitely not like a priority for me. Like I mentioned, my main focus right now, my number one focus is spirituality and just making sure that I live like like a happy life, you know? And not to say that influence aren't spiritual or happy or anything, but I don't want to sidetrack from that. You know, if it ends up happening, then if I end up getting followed, then following, then that's cool. But it's not like something like my main focus, right? But you definitely do,
Mm,
I definitely do see that for you, like your personality and just the way you are with people. I definitely feel like a lot of people can connect with you, and I don't know, you just have that
thank
personality
you.
that's perfect.
You're making me blush, John. Stop it.
No,
But
I
with
mean,
the spirituality thing, I wanted to ask you, was that something like that was always like a very big priority? Or is like was that just like developed over like a quarantine? Like, because I know like a lot of people develop stuff, developed like ideologies or different things that they want to do in their life, like over quarantine, or was that like always a thing for you?
well, growing up, you know, my mom especially, she tried to invoke, you know, religion and spirituality into us. I didn't really take it seriously until I got to like high school, and I was confused about like the type of person I wanted to be and just kind of finding myself. And once I started reading the Bible, I felt like I could finally, you know, become the person that I wanted to with like certain
Mm,
ideology. And that's definitely what led me, you know, every year I became like a better person, better version of myself, I feel like. And the struggles that I was going through in school, like whatever I had, it was always like that comfort that I found, that happiness that I found, whether I was when I was preaching, you know, that way out, that was my way of helping people, you know, taking like good news, good messages from the Bible to people. And definitely when it came to graduation, that grew even more, and I realized that I wanted to do that more than I wanted to do college. um, and I mean, over quarantine, of course, you know, one got to like think about themselves and
mm-hmm.
reanalyze. I feel like we had a lot more time to do that, so I kind of found things I need to better myself in, mental health wise, and you know, I definitely worked on those. What about you? Did you realize something or make any changes in quarantine?
Yeah, over quarantine, it was like a very big step in my life. I feel like um I really practiced like mindfulness and like really trying to live in the moment, and like self reflection definitely was a huge one, and that made me realize like what I wanted to do or how I wanted to be in the future. So I really like wrote that down. I wrote it out. Like that's a big thing. I encourage everyone who's listening to do that, to write out who you want to be in the future, not necessarily like your job, but like how you want to be as a person. So I wrote out like, what do I want to do? How do I want to act? How do I want to speak? And I wrote that all out. And like I kind of had like some other smaller goals in there also. And manifesting became a very big thing. I feel like I believe in that 100%. Like if you really think about it every day, and like you really feel like you could do it, and you believe in yourself, it can definitely happen. And so over quarantine, I kind of figured out who I was. Like before that, I feel like I wouldn't say I followed the crowd, but I really didn't have my own identity. And that wasn't even like following the crowd. It was just that I wasn't really influenced by anyone, but I also didn't have any ideas of my own, or any original thoughts. Quarantine really helped me. Quarantine was like really big. I feel like some people think of it as a negative thing, and like I hate being stuck at home all the time, but like I've never been so like in tune with my thoughts and in tune with myself and what I want. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I understand that, especially the pressure that we can get from like being first generation, you know, Americans, coming from, you know, families that came here thinking that, you know, you get a college degree and you're set, you're going to be rich, you're going to be successful. But I feel like the whole meaning of success has changed over time, you know, and the ways that you can get to it have definitely evolved. And not everyone is meant to go to college, and that's okay. And for people who do go to college, that's okay too, you know. And for people who are still just trying to figure it out, like it's
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
I feel like patience is definitely the key to like finding your success, you know, and finding what really makes you happy. The pressure's always going to be there, and it just takes time to kind of analyze within yourself what the kind of person you want to be and what you want to be. Like as far as manifesting and everything, you know, a lot of people say like if you say it, it'll happen. I definitely believe that if you say something, but also if you back it up with your actions. I don't believe that people who just say it and it just becomes the reality. No, I definitely think that you have to put in your hard work, and with your actions, you're gonna show everyone, you're gonna show yourself too that you're gonna become successful. And not a lot of people know how to do that, especially at
Mm.
our age, graduating high school. We're all like still trying to find ourselves. And I think that's why we made this podcast, to kind of give those people a guide of what they want to do with different careers and different people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, and that's why we want to interview people of many different backgrounds and see how they've grown and see how their goals have changed and what careers they want to do, and even people that are in the fields like photographers or teachers or whatever career. We want to interview those people to see how they got there, what actions they've taken to get where they're at. And like we're going to talk about, like, to nursing students, to growing influencers that we know, to like all different types of careers. So that's why we made this podcast, is to give those people, give you guys guides to get to these careers
You guys,
possibly.
guides.
You guys guides to get to these careers, or to help you decide to figure out what you want to do. This episode of the Past Podcast is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. There's creation tools in Anchor that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That means that you can make money with as little as one play. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And the best part about it is it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
A lot of people struggle with that part of having an identity, especially in high school. And I mean, you mentioned that earlier, where you didn't really know who you were in high school. And we went to high school together. And what I remember you as is definitely not what you've told me your experience has been. So, how was your high school experience?
Yeah, it was interesting. I just feel like I'm gonna put this out there right away. I just feel like people are way too concerned with feeling like they're with the cool people. Just be yourself. Like, honestly, just be yourself and be with the people that you want to be with, because the friends that I came out of high school with was way different than the people I was with high school with in high school. Because once everyone found out I was good at basketball, I was like, he's good at basketball. Let's talk to him. And everyone talked to me, and people knew who I was because I was good at basketball. But nobody really like cared about me, I feel like. And like you're with the cool kids and you hang out with them, but like, are you really happy? I did not feel happy at all. I was there, I was friends with them for maybe like I don't know, I don't want to give them that satisfaction. Hopefully they don't know who I'm talking about, but like I was with these so-called cool kids for like a year, and I was not happy at all. I didn't have any real friends, and I didn't really have anybody to go to if I had a problem, or like to talk to. And after that, I kind of just went to myself. I had a few close friends. I had a friend that was like probably my best friend out of school, but I didn't really have any good friends in school until probably my senior year. And I've really figured out who I wanted to be friends with. I wanted to be friends with people that are genuine, and friends that like people that are themselves and aren't don't care about like what other people think about them and stuff like that. And everyone thought I was the cool kid. I was good at basketball, but they had their own groups. Like everybody had their own groups, and they all went to their own groups. And I just feel like I was just there. I was acquaintances with all these groups. I wasn't a close friend with anybody until like senior year. I had like a few other people that I'm friends with now, but sometimes you lose high school friendships, and that sucks. And if you can't really get it back, there's not really much you can do about it, because they find their new friends and stuff like that. But like, you try to find people that you think you can last with, like are people that you feel like you can have a long-term friendship with. And people didn't know that I was just that out kid, like low key. Like people thought he's good. He has his friends. He's good at basketball. He's cool. He talks to all these people, but like nobody was there for me. and I don't want to be mean to like the people that thought they were cool with me in high school, but nobody was really there for me. Nobody really had my back. Like everybody just went to their own groups at the end of the day, and I was there by myself at home, you know, and it just sucks. And I know you had a similar experience where like people thought that you were the cool kid because then that's what I thought. I thought that you were like you're the president, you're in student council, you have all these
Was
friends and
not the
everybody knows
president.
you. No?
Was
Well,
not
that's
the
what it felt like.
official
That's what
president.
people called you. That's what people called you because exactly that's what I'm saying. People called you the president because they thought that you were like the most popular, the smartest, the I mean not the smartest, but like the most popular, the most known person, like the most respected person you were. But it was a very different experience as I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, talking about you, like, I remember when you first came to the school and that whole thing of you becoming an athlete and you're really good at basketball. I remember seeing that, and I think I've told you before, I was like, oh, I don't like that kid. Because I thought you were, that type of like the jock, the cool kid, the way everyone portray you, you
Exactly.
know?
And yeah, freshman year, actually, when I was at a school that had sports and I was playing for them, everyone like I didn't want to be associated with the athletes. Like I played basketball, but I had my friends that weren't on the I had my whole group of friends um was all people that weren't athletes because I feel like the athletes treat them like I mean, feel like they're better than everyone. Like they're on a different level and I didn't like that. I didn't
Right.
talk to nobody
Yeah.
on the team. Yeah, I'm sorry. Continue. I just wanted to get make that clear about
No, yeah, definitely. And I
what you're
mean, we didn't even like we had a class together and we didn't even know it. It was
yeah.
sophomore year, we had a class, we didn't even know we were in the same class. And we didn't become friends till like end of senior year, right? Or like middle of senior
Yeah.
year, which sucks because
Yeah.
I feel like maybe our high school experience would have been different if we had met earlier, but maybe it was like kind of like meant for us to meet that like that late. Um,
Yeah.
but I definitely feel that every person you meet is like either a blessing or it's a lesson. And that's something that a teacher taught me. And I still carry it to this day because so many people that you meet in high school, I feel like our high school was very everyone knew each other because it wasn't that big of a school, but there were definitely like groups of kids, right? And I felt the same way you did, I was kind of floating everywhere. Everyone knew me, which meant that I didn't have like a group, although I had like certain friends that I
Mhm.
would hang out with more. I didn't have like a group, or someone I could text who would be like, "Hey guys, like let's go and do something." And for the most part, that was okay because I had a friend group from my Kingdom Hall, so I didn't really need that friendship in school. But at the same time, when I was in school, I felt, alone. Like everyone would say hi to me, but nobody would really hang out with me, which
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
which kind of sucked because I was kind of everywhere, and not to like put these people down because I do appreciate like all the people I met in high school,
Yeah, same.
and yeah, and all the people who like were my friends. It's just the experience that I had, and I went into high school with severe like anxiety because I was moving from this Kearney, like where everyone kind of knew each other, to Jersey City. It's this new school, and new people. I was going knowing two people who were going with me from my middle school. So I definitely went with a lot of anxiety. I would have, panic attacks, although a lot of people thought that I was fine. And, always smile. Everyone always says, "Why are you always smiling? Like you're that one person that always smiles." And
Exactly. Mhm.
and it's like, it was just like the persona that I put on for a long time. And I feel like eventually, junior year, I stopped caring. Like
Exactly. Me too.
even the way I would dress, I would try
Me
like
too.
impress other people, and then eventually I was like, you know what? Let me dress how I feel comfortable and what I like,
Exactly.
and put out my actual feelings. I don't have to be smiling all the time, and you know that I think led me to find the friends that I wanted to find. But like you said, we lose
Uh-huh.
contact with a lot of people from high school. I mean, really, you're one of the only people, I would say maybe three people, but the most that I talked to is probably you from high school. Um,
Yeah.
and that's crazy because I met you towards the end of our high school
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
experience.
And about what you were saying with people that you meet are either lessons or blessings.
Blessings.
I've definitely had, like you, like a lot more lessons with people that I've met and people that I've lost contact with friends.
Yeah, because I mean, you start to learn something about like yourself, and I don't want to be associated with these people because they're this way, and I don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like you kind of figure out like who you want to be. Like I guess I kind of found my own identity. I guess didn't find the people that I had to, but like I found you, and I feel like definitely like don't judge a book by its cover. Like I feel like that's a really big thing. I feel like a lot of people put on a face, and like people like that just because of that person, like how they act and stuff, or how they the face that they put on. It's not the real them, you know. And like you judged me by like I was an athlete, and I judged you because like you were like that. I thought you were that popular kid. You're like everybody knew you, and you always had a smile on your face, you know. And like that's pretty crazy. And then we realized when we started talking, the end of senior years, like he's a great guy, and like it's just like a crazy realization. Like all these people that I met, like very few genuine people. Genuine people are very hard to find, I feel like. And then once you find them, like it's like diamonds in the rough. People that you don't think you'll be friends with, you're actually like still in touch with. I feel like a lot of my friends now is people that like people wouldn't say like you guys will be great friends together, you know?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Because the people who I mostly hung out with in high school, I don't really, I don't talk to them. Like, I think the last time we talked was maybe a few months after we graduated, and that was really it. You know,
Yeah.
it's because once you lose that thing that you guys had in common, where you were able to talk every day and like seeing each other every day, you know, and once more effort is required in a friendship, I guess you really see
Yeah.
who actually wants to be your friend. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. I think the commonality of like being together every day is like a big factor in friendship. I feel like a lot of people don't have like great friendship morals where like they put in effort. You put in effort to talk to somebody you care about, right? But like people don't. Then once you leave school, then what happens, man? And that just sucks. I hate that so much, and it bothers me so much. And that's why I have trust issues with friends, like in schools, like if people that I meet at school. I just feel like I don't want to give that effort. I don't want to put in that effort in the beginning to just like not see each other in school and then the effort is gone. Like I don't want to be the only one putting in the effort to try to be friends with somebody, you know. And then that's what
Yeah,
scares me now.
yeah. I mean, that just comes from like people we've had as friends, you know, who we thought like, oh my God, like this is my best friend, and then go to a year later, you guys are walking past each other in the hallway without saying hi, you know, and just ignoring each other.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where like
Hmm.
trust issues with friends definitely came up for me, where I was like, I did not want to be friends with anyone, you know, and I was like, I don't believe in best friends, I don't believe in close friends, I believe in like people you know and acquaintances. I used to say that all
Yeah.
the time,
That's all I
but
knew.
yeah,
Also.
I mean, as we grew up, you know, like you said, we it's kind of our fault too because we judge people by them by what we think they are.
Yeah, and
Like I judge
but
you,
I feel like
like
that's a big thing in high school. Like people
yeah,
do that like all the
definitely,
time to everyone. And that's why like gossip is a big thing in high school. Like you realize how stupid that is when you get out of high school. And I feel like for everyone that's in high school right now, a big thing for you to learn and to know is even in college, man, just like don't judge people based off what other people say. Like please like try to talk to them and just like uh really get to know them. Like I feel like people don't put that effort and they make an assessment on somebody based on somebody else's word or based on what they see and it's just not right. Like make your own judgment like for your own experiences and stuff and then you'll find who really is good people.
yes,
And
I
I see you like
completely agree with that. Yeah, I'm like yes, yes, because that's so true. I mean, if someone had, you know, and a lot of going in my freshman year, a lot of people did say that the people you meet are not going to be your friends when you graduate.
yeah, I
Like you're
know.
going to
I didn't believe
change
that
over the
either.
years. I did not believe that. I was like, I'm gonna have like my
Yeah.
two friends that I know. But every year I had different friends and I was in different groups. Like I said, I was floating everywhere. And it wasn't until like my last year that I actually found, you know, at least like a friend, that I was like, okay, like I want to be their friend, you know. Um, Obviously I had more people, but you lose connection, people stop putting in effort, and that's okay too. I feel like, it
Yeah.
sucks, but at the same time, I feel like, it's better for us to have the people who actually want to be our friends in our life.
Yeah. And what you were just saying with like you lose touch, something that I want everybody to know also is don't just stop talking to someone and don't have that you don't have that closure that the friendship's done. Like they don't answer you, like or they tell you like I don't want to talk to you no more. I don't like, or this time isn't right or whatever. Please have your closure when the friendship is done. Don't let like someone don't let the friendship end based off of nobody talking to each other, because then that's just a lost cause. That's just a lost friendship because both you guys are too like insecure, I guess you could call it, to not reach out just because you don't want to be the one to reach out. You don't want to look like you're putting like too much effort in. I don't know why that's a thing. People are scared to make an effort because they feel like they'll get shut down. And that's completely fine if you get shut down. Like if
You get your
then
closure.
the friendship is done. Exactly. Like reach out to your friend that you haven't talked to in a little bit just to know, like, because usually the case is like I would say 7 times out of 10 that, oh, I didn't know if you still care about me, or I didn't know if you like, because you have your friends in your school, so I didn't know that you still like wanted to be my friend. So like that's usually the case. So reach out to them. Like I reached out to John, and like he has a full-time job, and like I didn't really talk to like, and then I'm reaching out to him trying to, because I knew that he was like somebody that I wanted to be friends with and somebody that I wanted to keep in my life. So like please like get the closure like in your friendships. Like if you still want to be friends with somebody, reach out. And if they reject you, that's completely fine. It's completely normal. I know it hurts, and but you know that the friendship is done, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you said like, I don't know why people don't do that, I can kind of attest to that because I mean, I told you this experience that I had where I still feel like a jerk about it because somebody did reach out to me and be like, did I do something wrong? Because I just cut them off. And
Yeah,
I let the influence of people in high school and I let my mentality of, I don't really want to be their friend anymore because they're doing this. But instead of telling them, I'm just going to ignore them and leave them on red, when they try to reach out and just maybe that'll
yeah,
make the friendship end. And, as time passed by, I realized that that was, a jerk thing to do. And, I hope that someday that person can forgive me, because it's nothing against them. I just think we grew apart. And I was a jerk who didn't know how to say, I don't really want to be your friend anymore, or but I feel like that because there's like a stigma of like you're being rude and you're being like you can't say that to people that you don't want to be their friend, but like you
yeah,
said, that gives them closure, and it
yeah.
allows
I would
someone
be
to move
thankful if
on.
somebody did that for me. I would be thankful
Yeah,
if somebody said like, even though I know it's done, I would still be thankful if somebody still said like, I feel like we've grown apart and I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I'd be thankful. I'd be like, okay, like thank you for telling me that. But people would say, yeah, exactly what you said. There's a stigma around like that.
yeah, like you have to be friends with everyone and you can't be mean. And it's not even being mean, it's just, being honest. And,
Yeah.
who knows, maybe if I was honest then that we grew apart, maybe now we would be friends, because we maybe found our way back to each other. But I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
that was just the wrong thing for me to do. And it's like the one regret I have of high school, just being, and after that, I mean, I completely realized that like after the situation happened and that person ended up moving, because they had no friends, and I started realizing like, wow, that was a really bad thing for me to do. And, I changed and I started talking to everyone. And I feel like that's why eventually I gave you the opportunity of like, becoming like getting to know you, it definitely led to that. So that's that's where the whole thing, like, experiences are blessings and lessons, you know. And I mean, you reached out, and like you said, I was really busy. Like, I didn't go to college, but I was keeping busy with, you know, my spirituality, preaching, and my full-time job. And, you know, so it was like I was getting home some days like at 9 o'clock, and you know, I was waking up super early, getting home late, wasn't really reaching out to anyone, especially from high school, you know, people who I didn't really have contact with. And that's where, like, I'm thankful that you reached out, because, you know, you were always like in the back of my head, like, I have to reach out to Joseph, I have to reach out to this person just to say hi, you know, because they were like my good friend. But it was just like either really late, or I just didn't get the chance and I forgot. But that's where you came in and you reached out, and then, you know, we're friends. Like, we went from, like, when you reached out, I think we talked for like a few days, and then we kind of stopped. And a few months later, you reached out again, and I was like, okay, yeah, like, this is my friend,
Yeah,
you know, I have to keep up with him. Like, even though I'm busy, I'm gonna make the effort.
yeah,
And that's where we
exactly.
made the effort. It's like sometimes, like,
Hmm.
we're communicating like at 11 at night, you know, that's where we get the chance to talk, because that's when I'm free, and I'll text
That's when
you
I
and
know
you'll text me.
that's the only time you can communicate with me. And like that's the big thing is like people need to know, like, reach out to the people you care about. Like you never know what's happening with them. Like you don't know what's going on. And also another thing, if you ask someone how they're doing and they just say good, do not accept that. Like get some details, like, like figure out, like, not every I don't think anybody is just good, you know? There's always something that bothers them, or something that, like, they're not that's happening with them that they're just like not happy about, or something like that. Like get the details. Like if you care about someone, reach out to them, because you never know what they're going through also. Like you never know, like John, like he was always working. So like I reached out because I care about him. So reach out to people you care about. Definitely.
Yeah. And I learned that from you, because I remember you were like, hey, like, we haven't talked in a long time. Like, what have you been up to? And I was just like, oh, I'm good, you know, just working. And you were like, no, don't say that. Explain, like, go into detail.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I was like, wait, what? Like, he actually wants me to go into detail. So, you know, that's where our conversation started. And that's how, when you eventually hit me up too, we got to even talking about the podcast, you know, because we were going into detail about our lives and finding out more about each other, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you want to be close friends with somebody, like you want to know as much about them as possible, like what they're going through, what's going on with them and stuff like that. That's like I think that's like the line between like just a regular friend, like an associate or whatever, to like a really close friend is like you really knowing like what they're up to and how they really feel about certain things and how they feel about what's going on, certain situations and stuff like that. That's why with everyone that I hit up, I'm like, no, no, like for real, because the initial go to answer is good, you know. Then I
Yeah,
hate
I'm
that, like,
good. How about you?
yeah, like I'm good. How about you? Like I'm not just I'm not your neighbor across the street who you don't know like that. Like good, and I'm not accepting that good. So like you better tell me how you actually feel, like, or what and what's going on. So please try to fish that out of your friends if you really care about them. And you never know, someone's going through like something really bad and they just don't want to tell you. Like you don't want them to hold that in. Also,
For sure. For sure. So I guess that whole segment of like high school was basically, you know, if I guess what you can take out of that is kind of like, just be yourself. And I know it's corny, but, you know, just actually be yourself and try to attract the people who want to be your friend, you know. Don't just go because they're the cool kids, you know, you think they're the cool kids, or you think this thing about this person, you know. If that was the case, I mean, Joseph would have probably still not been friends, you know.
yeah,
Um,
make a judgment for yourself about a person. Like really get to really talk to them, and like it doesn't matter if it's like if they sit, oh, this person sits alone at lunch every day. Like you never know, or something like that. Or like this person, they only do schoolwork all the time. And like you never really know something about someone until you talk to them. So like really get to know someone, make that judgment for yourself. Don't just believe what other people say. Because I definitely fed into that also. It's like that happens a lot in high school. It's like a lot of making fun of other people because of like how they are, or like how they look, or and stuff like that, or making assumptions. It's just wrong. And if you're in high school right now, please don't do that. Or college, even anywhere, don't
Yeah,
do that. Don't make
anywhere.
assumptions about anybody. They could be
Work.
going through stuff that you don't know about, like, you know, and they're actually like great people. They really, you never know. On that note, we hope you guys took those points away and many other points that we made throughout the episode. We hope you enjoyed learning a little more about us and taking away from our experiences and learning from them. And also, we hope that you enjoyed overall. And stay tuned. We got a lot coming soon, and we're really excited.
Thank you guys so much for watching and getting to know us a little bit better. We're so excited for the more content that we're gonna start to put out. And just make sure that you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure you follow us, and you can stay up to date with everything we're gonna be posting on all our social media. Um, Twitter, Instagram, everything will be linked in our description. And please comment down below if you're watching on YouTube any topics you want us to talk about or any jobs you want us to give you more information about, because we can definitely find people to interview and get you that path that you can go to, or the direction you can follow. Feel free to DM us on all our social media also if you have any questions or want us to talk about something. And we hope to see you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you guys. This is the Past Podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. Episode 1, let's go. Peace.
Episode 1 done.